Hi, everybody. Welcome to this edition of NAAP News Now. My name's Elisa Tag. I'm so excited to be with you. I'm the Association Director for NAAP, and my special guest today is Kaylee Massey with Artfull Enrichment. Kaylee, how are you today?
I'm excellent. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you for joining us today. I know, Kaylee, we've been working with Artfull Enrichment for the last couple of months now, and we're super excited to have this opportunity to meet with you live on Facebook so that everybody can really get to know you a little better, know what Artfull Enrichment's about. I know we've had some advertising with you, so some of our subscribers have been able to be privy to that great discount that you offer for our NAAP members, which I know we'll be talking about a little bit later. And I think you may be joining us in April. So I'm super excited about that to welcome you to Bloomington in April when we have our annual conference there. So welcome.
Thank you.
Kaylee, how are you today? How are things going in your area of the world?
I'm good. I'm just outside of Toronto, and this week has been the nicest week in a few weeks. So I think everyone's just in a bit better mood, starting to finally feel like summer just in time for fall.
Isn't that the truth? I know the weather has been super crazy, and we send our love and support to our friends and neighbors in Florida and all along the East Coast as they're preparing for Hurricane Idalia to be hopefully not doing too much damage. I know we actually had a hurricane here on the West Coast. We had Hurricane Hillary that came through from Hawaii and up the Mexico into California, and it was interesting here where I'm at in Las Vegas is that we had another front of weather in combination with the hurricane kind of come and together. And so we had probably 2 weeks of solid rain, which is not normal in Las Vegas. We're super dry here. So it was a really change of pace, that I know a lot of people
Were people enjoying the rain, or were they?
No, because the problem is when you are a desert and it's super dry here, rain does not soak in the land. It stays on the top, and we had flooding like no tomorrow everywhere. And we're in a valley, and so as you get closer to the strip, I'm probably about 6 miles south of the strip, up almost on altitude, so I'm not as low elevated as the strip is. And they had a lot of flooding down there. And of course, they have a lot of areas, like if you ever watch videos, I would just encourage everybody. I know this has nothing to do with anything, but the Link, which is one of our famous, like slow moving Ferris wheels that's similar to like the Eye in London. That area of where the Link is located floods even when we get just a teeny bit of rain. So it was very interesting. You could probably see some people swimming or riding their boating apparatuses around there. It's just really interesting how the weather affects us in Las Vegas. We're just used to having hot all the time. So,
No way.
But we'll take the rain anytime. And we hope that some of it will soak in and that we can, because we've been in water restrictions probably for 20 years. So hopefully we can have some of that support. But yes, I know in the Toronto area, you said you get to enjoy your week of summer. Is that what you said?
You know what? We normally have really beautiful summers, but the last couple of weeks have been a little rainy. But fall is the best time of the year here, so I'm ready for it. I'm soaking it all up.
Right. And I love, what was it? Just a couple days ago, Starbucks introduced, pumpkins back in season.
Yeah.
So everybody's got to go get their pumpkins and
pumpkin spice season. Yeah.
Their pumpkin drinks, and everything will be pumpkin. I know. I think we were at the store and it was pumpkin cream cheese and pumpkin yogurt already. And I'm just like, okay.
It's funny that you say that, because the programs that we're putting out right now are all a lot of them are pumpkin themed crafts and decorations and paintings. It's all pumpkins.
Oh, I'm so excited to learn more about that and see that. So let's just get right into Kaylee. Tell us a little bit more about you and your background and how you became an artist, I guess is a good way to put that.
So I went to school on the East Coast of Canada, and I studied painting there. So I did tons of different fine arts. I did drawing and oil painting mostly. And I've always continued my practice since then, but it's definitely taken a little bit of a backseat to starting Artfull Enrichment. But that's really where my love of the arts is from. I've been a very creative kid, come from a very creative family, always have found art to be an amazing escape and way to process things and just express myself. So I've been really fortunate to keep that in my work that I've been doing since then.
It's so neat to hear somebody who has such an artistic background to be able to utilize that, and use that resource to create artful enrichment. And I'm so excited that, we've been able to connect and learn more from you personally on how the work that you do with artful enrichment. I think first of all, the East Coast area of Canada is absolutely gorgeous. So you had a beautiful scenery, I guess, to paint from and have all of that gorgeousness there, and being able to take that and see. I think every part of the world is absolutely gorgeous, in its own unique way. And so having the ability to do that, and I think that's really cool. So tell us a little bit more about your motivation to create Artful Enrichment. How did it all begin?
So after I went to school, I taught art at a lot of different kind of education centers and for different companies, working with children and adults and older adults. And then I had a really unique experience. I was hired on by a senior living organization to work in their community and build art programs and creative programs for their population. And it was to this day, I've never heard of this position being created anywhere else. They're a very innovative company. So I got really unique experience working with the residents and the life enrichment teams and the nursing team and the kitchen staff as well, like working with everyone together to create programming that was really reflective of the communities, of the community members, and also integrated lots of the different sectors of the organization. So the culinary, the nursing, and how can we incorporate them and put art programming into the community that's going to have a long-lasting impact on the residents as well. So when I worked for that company, after I left, I had seen the benefits of art making for older adults, but also for the staff and for people who may be facing adversity. And then I started Artful Enrichment from there.
Kaylee, thank you for sharing that, because I don't think that happens very often in other countries where, you have the ability to be hired to do exactly that. I think our activity professionals, especially, I'll speak more of the United States just because that's what I'm familiar with. They are required to essentially be the jack of all trades, and they have to wear all these different hats. And I know for me personally, and my friends and other fellow colleagues that know me very personally know that I am no way, shape, or form an artist of any way, of any talent. I can barely color between the lines, let me tell you. And so having the ability, and I love art, it's not like I don't enjoy it. I love going to art museums. I love learning about the different textures that art, can provide. And I love the benefits that we have seen so much of art engagement, working with art and having that opportunity. And so to know that the company, that the senior living community that you worked with probably took a big risk in hiring you and having you on staff, so to speak, to have that experience with those residents, to learn so much about art, because it's more than just colors on a piece of paper, right? It's so much more to it.
Yeah, I think companies are starting to see the value of the arts, and there is so much research coming out. There's a lot of research that has been done in the past, but more and more research is coming out because more organizations, recreation organizations, are opening themselves up to the fact that the art can have health benefits, physical, emotional. It really touches on those dimensions of wellness. People who participate in the arts consistently have shown to have a reduction in stress. They have a better sense of self, improved self-confidence. In some cases, they're taking less medication, and their social isolation has decreased. So there's so many benefits. I could go on and on about them, but I think companies are really starting to see the value and starting to invest in that as well.
Yes, and you hit the nail on the head there, because especially right now with non-pharmacological approaches to care, and art appreciation or art therapy is listed in especially in the federal records here in the United States as being a non-pharmacological approach. And I think having, artful enrichment around is going to help our activity professionals like myself that don't have a lot of, creativity. I'm creative in many ways, just not artistically creative. And so having that ability, like my mom would always say, my mom's very artistically talented, and I agree with everything you said. She's just getting ready to turn 87 this weekend. She is living alone independently in her own 4-bedroom, 2-bath house that she cares for, and she's still very artistic and sewing. She still sews and quilts on a regular basis and does all these things that are just beautiful that I never was able to learn or had the desire, I guess. Not for the lack of her trying to teach me and stuff. And my sister's very talented artistically as well. And I don't know what happened to me. I didn't get that talent. But I love the fact that what you talk about is that it helps to increase the risk of social isolation, because that's the newest like trend right now. Obviously, as we are still coming in and out of COVID, because I know many of our communities are experiencing COVID lockdowns once again, but having art is such a cool thing, because it doesn't have to necessarily be done in a group. It can be done individually. And so let's talk about that a little bit more with artful enrichment. What makes you so unique?
So the programs, the way that it works is our members will gain access to the programs through an online platform, and they can go onto the site and they get access to over 250 creative programs, and that includes like art history presentations. It's not just necessarily art making programs, but it's a little bit of everything. There's drawing, crafts, live workshops, video tutorials, trivia. There's a little bit of everything for everyone. And as you mentioned, in some cases, people don't necessarily need to be making art in a group setting. So we also have independent programs that can be adapted, whether it's an outbreak scenario or whether it's just someone wanting to work independently in their suite or at home. But I think what makes Artfull really unique in our approach is that we work so closely with the members and the life enrichment and activity professionals to make sure that the programs are constantly reflecting the user. So we're making sure that if we get program requests from people, they're like, we have this event coming up, can you incorporate something to go with it? Someone had, I think it was like Peach Fest, so we did a peach program. We're collaborating with them all the time, and I think that's really important, because we don't want people to just buy the programs. We want them to actually use them and it to be really successful in the communities. So that, I would say, is what I feel really proud about Artful Enrichment.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people think it would just be you sending some blank canvases and a kit on how to draw, and it's not. I love the fact that you have trivia and historical facts and figures, and so cool, that you have all of this available, as part of a subscription-based service. So let's talk a little bit more about that. How does that all work?
So the way it works is we have an annual membership. The people can sign up. It's the pricing is just right on our website, and you can sign right up there. NAAP members do get a discount. I'm not sure if you wanted me to say it here or we can put it on after. But they do get a discount to the annual membership. And the nice thing is with our program library is it never will remove a program. So you could plan your programs for the full year, but we do put out new programs every month as well. So it's constantly growing and expanding without ever removing anything. So it's essentially an endless pot of programming ideas with clusters of programs. So like curated, for example, for Halloween, we have a curated group of programs. So you could put one every week during October. We've got playlists, we've got training videos to make sure that people feel comfortable, which is really important. You mentioned that you're a creative person, but you don't necessarily identify as an artist.
Yeah.
That's very common, I think. But I think in the activity professional world, everyone is creative. It's such a creative job. You have to be constantly thinking on your feet and adapting. So I think if people open themselves up to these opportunities, whether it's facilitating the program or the staff actually participating in some of them as well, people often surprise themselves. Like the majority of our programs are broken down step by step. So you don't need to be an artist to facilitate it or participate in it. There's photos or videos of each stage and instructions and modifications for different abilities to make it more inclusive. So yeah, we try to make it as adaptable as possible for different communities and different styles of activity professionals.
So even a Lisa Tag can do it. It sounds like.
I guarantee you, I'm going to send you one and then you can try it out.
I love Halloween is a fun holiday. It's one of my favorites too, only because, I like that. Like recently on TV, they've been showing more previews of all the horror movies that are coming out. And of course, I like to watch those year round, but it's so fun to see the new ones, that are being released for this season. But knowing too that the music, I love the fact that you're also including another creative aspect and music appreciation and having that involved, because what's one of my favorite activity, that's my talent is music. And so one of my favorite activities to do is to play. I share this one a lot, so sorry if it's repetitive for those that are watching, but my favorite song to play for our residents is The Sound of Silence by, Simon and Garfunkel, but then play The Sound of Silence by Disturbed and look at the two different arrangements of the song, even though it's the same lyrics, same everything, and how uniquely different the two are. And I think of that too with art, like you could have, and that's the beauty of art. It's all about interpretation, right? And so I think that's super cool that music and art do go hand in hand, and how you've been able to incorporate both of those together like that. That's neat.
And everyone takes something, like you said, everyone takes something different from it. So some people are there for the social reasons. Some people are there because they want to develop their skills, while as other people are there because they want to express themselves creatively. And I think I hope that our programs do that for everyone.
Yeah, beautiful. So, all right. So how can our professionals learn more? What can we do?
So there's a few different ways. They're welcome to contact me directly. My email is cmassey@artfullenrichment.com.
Mm-hmm.
You can also go to our website, artfullenrichment.com, and Artful is with 2 L's. So it's misspelled. I always like to let people know that.
Mm-hmm.
We have a 30-day pilot for NAAP members. And like I mentioned, we have that 20% off discount. And I'm always open to connecting with anyone. If anyone wants to just tour the programs and get a better sense of how it would look in their community, I'm happy to jump on a call and provide them with some more information.
Yeah, and thanks for pointing that out. I did put your email address into the chat box. I love the fact that it is 2 L's. I think it really, it sounds like it's full. You know what I mean? Like art full, you're full. And so I love that play on words, I guess you could say, or that misspelling, if you want to look at it that way. But yeah, so it's Artful Enrichment with 2 L's at .com. So artfullenrichment.com, 2 L's, which is super cool. And yes, 20% off for all members of NAAP. So you can certainly look at that. We have a link on our website as well at naap.info, and we will be featuring Kaylee in our upcoming broadcast on Monday with more information on that too, so that everybody can relook at that. And then this will be available for playback on our YouTube channel later on for those that missed the time here, because I do know a couple of people reached out to me. I can't make that time. I really want to learn more. So yes, you can always watch it in playback. So Kaylee, I always like to end our times together with some final words of wisdom. So what are your final words of wisdom?
I would say for anyone that doesn't identify as creative, just to let them know that everyone is innately creative, and it's just opening your mind up to the possibility of identifying as that, and then you'll really surprise yourself with what you're capable of and what you're willing to take on maybe from the arts perspective or maybe in other areas of your life.
Yeah, open-mindedness goes a long way for everybody on any topic. So I love the fact that you utilize that phrase. Well, fabulous, everybody. This is Kaylee Massey from Artfull Enrichment. You can learn more at artfullenrichment.com with 2 L's. Make sure you remember that. And Kaylee will also be a featured speaker at our upcoming annual conference in Bloomington, Minnesota, next April of 2024. So hopefully you have that on your plans to attend our annual conference. We will be in Bloomington, Minnesota, so in the middle of the country, so it's easy to access. Until then, we will be back here in a couple weeks featuring another great professional in the healthcare profession. Kaylee, thank you so much for your time today. We so appreciate it.
Lisa.
All right, everybody have a great one. Take care.